It's been 11 years since Canon started to produce the wonderful 5D range, and this is the 6th model they've put out. Thanks to Calumet for renting this gear out to me. I'm testing it with a 24-70 2.8 L lens, and well, that's another video entirely. But frankly, and I know it's not the flagship full frame from Canon, but for me, it might as well be. It's a beauty. For around £3.5 grand, what you're getting is a 30.4 million pixel full frame CMOS sensor, dual Digic 6 Plus processor sensor, blah blah blah, you know the whole stats. Basically they've improved the sensor, improved the processor, slightly improved 1 frame per second continuous shooting, unlimited if you go into JPEG. The ISO range has been expanded slightly. It uses a 61-point AF system, and frankly that is just that bit faster, that bit better in low light. Now it can focus on most of them points down at f8 in low light, so that is a big advantage. You've waited 5 years for this, so what did you expect? Well, of course you're getting built-in Wi-Fi, NFC and GPS. So is it worth you having? Well, frankly, if you're a 5D fan and you've killed your 3, yeah, definitely. But a lot of jump ship. Let's have a close look at this thing. It's pretty much the same deal across the body, although it is 50 grams lighter. For the most part, you won't really necessarily care about that too much. You've got additional function buttons. The joystick feels a little bit better, a little bit sturdier, but to all intents and purposes, it's business as usual. Yes, it's a touch screen now. It's very responsive. Something that I really enjoy with the A2D that I'm using at the moment is the fact that you can just get in there like the tech fiends that we are, and you can just flick around with ease. You can pinch in, you can pinch out to zoom, and that is a nice treat. That's what you would expect these days anyway in a pro level body. It continues the usual tradition for the range, so you're not going to be surprised there too much. I think I noticed a bit more of a groove there. You know, grip is still nice, maybe even better. Apparently this has improved weather sealing. It's got the dual pixel business going on in here. Not a big deal for me. It does slow things down a little bit for you, but it's a very interesting feature which I'm going to get into later on, maybe in a few weeks, and see how I get on with that. But I'm kind of old school, so I'm not sure. But there's one thing that this does have that I do enjoy, is the dual pixel CMOS AF. So how that works, when you're in live screen mode, you can now focus a lot easier. In fact, that touch screen, if you want it to, will allow you to just shoot right there as you go. But it's a lot more responsive now in live screen to firing and focusing. And actually, that's something that I really love about this A2D when I'm filming myself. It just makes life so much easier. Very nice. Going back to that dual pixel business, you've got to use different software, but this dual pixel CMOS AF system is not that kind of deal. That's something that affects your AF and gets you just what you want, tracking nicely, especially using that live screen. The new processor helps metering and the sensor combine to process the images faster, and yeah, so your continuous hasn't been improved that much, but I find the AF tracking is a lot better. When it comes to the video features, well, let's just say it's definitely better. Yes, it's got 4K, but the 4K file sizes are just awkward. So they did it, but I'm not convinced it's where it needs to be quite yet. I mean, you know, you got your movie modes, your usual servo face tracking. As I said, big deal for me there. And you've got Marvin MP4, fine. You've got your 4K at 25, or you can have your 10, which actually will move upwards to 50. They're not falling backwards, but Sony, for example, are really taking over the 4K market now, and I've noticed people now that want to shoot 4K moving away from the poor old Canon bodies. And I don't know, I still think the 5D range is fantastic, especially if you're into movie and stills. But I think they're going to have to jump up with this 4K quality to recapture some of that market. You know, some guys have already moved over and they're probably not coming back, which is a shame. The Wi-Fi, the GPS, the NFC does make life a lot easier for pros, but also the support for the International Press and Telecommunication Council system, that makes things a little bit easier. You can get your work over to those picture desks and galleries a lot easier. So, you know, that's a nice feature for the pros out there. And frankly, this is a pro camera, so why not get that technology on the go? Bit disappointed that it only went up by 1 frame per second, that it still buffers around 22 raw files, but you know, you throw it into JPEG mode and you can go on ad nauseum. Now it does have a silent mode, but it's not silent. It should be called quiet mode, and that's annoying because obviously due to the nature of the DSLR bodies, it is very difficult, you know, to make them completely silent, it appears, and that's something that mirrorless has over it. As you would expect, the autofocus is even better, especially in live view mode, as we mentioned before, and that's definitely come on leaps and bounds, and that's a great thing. So I found that I wasn't really getting any difficulties flicking across, getting it to follow, to track well, and to hit that focus just where I needed it, things that you would expect. And in 5 years, that's been a nice jump. Is this a worthy upgrade? Is it mind-blowing? Is it revolutionary? Well, it's a familiar design, as you'd expect. The weather sealing is better, and I'm really happy with that touchscreen. It's nice and versatile, it's accurate, and it really helps me anyway with live shooting. Of course, the dual pixel CMOS AF makes that happen, especially in video recording. That's great. The face tracking works nicely if you're into that. The image quality, well, we're talking about more pixels, but it's still manageable. The dynamic range is definitely a lot better, and that's great for your landscape guys out there. That might be something that pushes you towards upgrading. It performs a little bit better, slightly faster burst, very impressive buffer if you're shooting in JPEG, and it's a very capable camera for your weddings, portraits, and up to your sports guys. Your landscape guys are now happy. As for the autofocus, it's the same amount of points, which is fine. The coverage is good. I found it worked a lot better in low light now, so they've definitely improved that. It's got that dual pixel business, but yeah, I don't know, need a bit more of a play with that to see if that's really something that bothers me, but that might be something that interests you. Going back to the video mode, yeah, they put 4K in, but they're not really pushing the boundaries. If you're just a casual shooter, you know, even YouTube and stuff like I do, the 4K might be too cumbersome for you, but at least they've improved on a 1080p, so it's still capable. You can understand why people have moved over, but you know, I think the 5D has a loyal fan base, give or take, and you know what you're getting. And that's the thing, it's probably not a mind-blowing upgrade at all, but if you've killed your 3s or you're on 2s, yeah, I think you'll be happy. You'll still have the feel that you're used to, and that's you know, it's obviously not gone backwards. The additional features make it easy for you press guys, for example, to get your shots out quicker. The other bits and pieces, even just for a casual shooter, to get it onto your mobile phone, easier, a lot easier. That's fantastic. It's a great addition to the lineup. It's just not necessarily mind-blowing. Let us know what you think in the comments below. It's really about what you guys are saying. You'll probably know a lot more about this and have a lot more that we can really bring to the table to help the viewers to see what they're looking at. I'm going to get off. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment below.